It's funny. Man, that this is still an artist channel, though I'm doing these memos, I guess. Uh, what art appreciation? I like to look at art from different ages and stuff. They talk about the Renaissance era or whatever the hell it is, because that's when they really started paying attention to art for their, for I guess the different reasons. They had the religious paintings and all these other scenes, and then they discovered new ways of painting and things like that. But they talk about the Da Vinci Code, right? You know what I find interesting about the Da Vinci Code when doing history about it and things like that? I think, it's, the Da Vinci Code, that's the name of him. But he did a painting called The Last Supper. That's very famous. People reprinted and remade it in their own way, in their own image or whatever the hell. But the original that he created, if you do history on it, it actually wasn't cared about. And it's funny because you couldn't even say that the woman that was next to him it's a mystery if that's a woman or a dude. Like that's the climate. You have to be there to understand the climate of the times. Like people can always talk about the times or how the times were. Like we're discovering in the history, a lot of the things that they said were lies, and you really had to be there to feel it out to see why. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to have the experience of things. You can have the history and do the knowledge on that, but you have to have the experience, the wisdom of experience and stuff like that. That's why it's good to learn from old souls or that feeling or whatever the hell. You know what I'm saying? Until the feeling's gone, because, whatever. That's why they'll have you value things that of, whatever. So, all right, back to what I'm, to what I'm trying to, the original topic. The Da Vinci Code is a good thing because it's talking about like what he hid in the because he actually planned his paintings out. A lot of people plan their paintings out and they have a structure to doing it, or it's a lifetime work that they build upon and stuff like that. And when they finally demonstrate their work, it means what it is. Some people, they just like automatic writing, they automatically paint. People have different processes, but his was really planned out. So if it was Peter instead of the woman in the middle of the painting, why was it such a thing where they had to hide saying, like, what was the position of if of that union of Jesus having a union, being that they don't mention it so much in the Bible, and those hidden things of people writing these books of this mysterious unveiling of if he had, you know what I'm saying, a consort, if he's the son of God and stuff like that, or whatever the hell it is. They try to say that his mother was a virgin birth, and then he never had, like, like a wife or something like that, or you barely see any women followers. They always talk about him trying to hold men to his breast and stuff like that. Like, what was the climate of the times, especially of the Victorian era and age and stuff like that? When you see these people with these big wigs and wearing these pantaloons and these stupid, it looks fucking ridiculous now. I mean, in that climate of time, that's how people were, dressing. And, they were powdered, their wigs. And if you look at those wigs, where they got it from was actually from places in Africa they shaped their hair like that and stuff like that. But that's a story for a different time. But anyway, so it's like, for just representing yourself and speaking up for yourself and how you handle your life in nature and stuff.